Hello Achiever, I am David Laroche and today we are with a new guest in Laroche and he is Jim Lutes. He's a motivational speaker, one of the top speakers, and we will learn how to speak and how to succeed, and he have great keys to share us today, and he is with me. Hello Jim.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much.
How are you?
I'm doing fantastic today. How about yourself?
Very
good.
Yeah, great view. Great place. I love to do the interview.
La Jolla is one of the greatest places out there.
And
so
you know,
nice.
everyone before to come there said us, you will enjoy San Diego. Everyone. In New York, in Miami, in Chicago, everyone said us, you will enjoy San Diego. It's the best place.
It's my hometown, so you're welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thank you very much. I would love to know more about you and your story. And can you share us your story?
Sure, I'd be happy to. One of my possessions I'm most proud of is my license plate. I have the California license plate Entrepreneur. And it goes way back to when I was in my early 20s and I was sitting on the beach and I really didn't know what I wanted to do. And a gentleman sat down and he said, what are you doing? I said, I'm sitting here. And he goes, no, where are you going with your life? And I said, I'm still deciding what I want to do. And he told me he was an entrepreneur, and I had no idea what that was. I had no idea. It wasn't a popular word back then, and I had no idea what he was talking about. I said, what do you do? He said, I'm an entrepreneur. I said, what's that? I go, is that a person that studies bugs, or what is it? I didn't know what the word meant. He said, no, that's a man or a woman that dictates where their life goes any day, any week, any month, any year. I go, well, how do you do that? Because my father was a businessman, my brother was a doctor. I just never heard anybody that set their own schedule before. And so I asked him, what's the first step? He goes, well, it'd be in business for yourself. He goes, but there's one step before that one. I go, what's that? He goes, you need to build yourself first. He goes, first you build yourself, then you build the business. I said, well, how do I do that? And he said, you begin to study specialized knowledge that's not taught in college. You begin to study success, you begin to study how the mind works so that you can move forward towards your goals. So he recommended some books and I went and read them and I got very, very excited about that. And I began to change. And as I read more and more books and listened to more and more audios, it all came back to the human mind. So from there, I ended up launching into a personal development corporation based on creating a worldwide expertise in hypnosis and the human mind. My background is in very, very high level hypnosis. I taught hypnosis in Del Mar here for many years, and I just see it as a rapid catalyst to change. So I became very, very good at it. And then I saw my ability to teach it to other people. So they can use it interpersonally, they can use it in front of a room, they can use it to work on themselves, and it developed into a very large company, and I'm blessed to have incredible friends, new friends like you, and all over the world, and it's been quite a journey, and it's not over yet.
It's great. I love that.
Yeah, it's fun.
And how old were you when you met this
21.
21, okay.
21 years old.
And how did you meet him?
I was sitting at the beach in Pacific Beach, and he sat down next to me. There's a wall. And you just really down there don't do a lot. You just sit and enjoy the day, enjoy the sunshine, enjoy the beach. And he sat down and we just began talking. So it might have been a divine intervention, but if I could find that man, I would buy him a Mercedes-Benz because he changed everything for me, and I have no idea who it is.
It's great. It's great. I love that. It's a movie.
It is a movie, yes.
Yeah.
It is.
So you discovered a topic of success, and you started to study that and learn a lot about that, and you decided to specialize in hypnosis, right?
That's correct. Everything that I was reading was coming back to the subconscious mind. Everything I was looking at came back to programming the subconscious mind. And as I looked further into that, I discovered that hypnosis was like surgery. It was the fastest, most expeditious way to program, or to change the programs, if you will, in the subconscious. So rather than take a long distance road, it's a very short road for rapid change within an individual.
When you mean hypnosis, you mean Ericksonian hypnosis?
Ericksonian is a form of hypnosis. Ericksonian is a language-based hypnosis. There's many different kinds of hypnosis. There's rapid induction hypnosis, instantaneous induction hypnosis. There's a number of ways that you can utilize hypnosis, and hypnosis is based on semantics, linguistics, and the art of suggestion. So you can use part of hypnosis for influence, for persuasion, whether it be one-on-one, say a real estate agent, or whether it be in front of an audience of 5,000 people.
Yeah, can we talk about this kind of hypnosis? I would love to discover
Sure.
how do you use a hypnosis in a conversation, for example?
Well,
How you can use hypnosis to...
Absolutely. There's some laws of the mind, rules of the mind, if you will. One of which is every suggestion is enforced by the prior accepted suggestion. So for instance, sit up for 1 second. That was a suggestion. So I began to get a compliance on your part. Then what I'll end up doing is using language patterns to get your mind, your subconscious, to agree. Your subconscious will say, that's true. In other words, it won't refute what I'm saying. So now I have a congruent cadence of language to insert other suggestions, persuasion. Let me give you a quick example of what's called a phonological ambiguity embedded command. Let's say I was selling a computer system. And my objective from the stage was to get somebody to buy the computer system. I work with many high-class speakers, world-class speakers that want to monetize their business. They're very good at their content. They're content competent. They're very good, but they teach. And teachers don't make a lot of money. They want to make a lot of money. Professional speakers don't teach. They influence. There's a big difference. If you go to college and you learn biology, he's a good teacher, but nobody wants to buy anything when they leave the class. He needs to weave his content into an influence bed. So one of the things you can do, an embedded command or a phonological ambiguity would be, as you sit at the chair, in the chair right now, I am sure you'll by now understand that the X150 computer system will increase your profits by 150%. Did you catch it?
Yeah.
The phonological ambiguity in that case is you'll buy now. The subconscious hears it as purchase now. But the sentence is buy now chronologically. Then I do a tonality drop on the back end of understand. So I am sure you'll buy now, understand? The subconscious hears purchase now.
It's amazing.
It's an ambiguity, meaning that it can be heard in two different ways. And if you have the emphasis on certain tonality, so hypnosis is the art of suggestion. It's getting a directional influence. It's not the art of control or manipulation. It's the art of suggestion and direction.
And so it's amazing to discover how to influence people with hypnosis. How do you do the difference between manipulation and influence or persuasion? For example, when you master this kind of tool, you have a kind of power, right?
You have a gain of influence.
Yeah, in fact, I mean internal power, not on people, but like a knife. It's like hypnosis is like a knife. You can use it to kill, or you can use it to do something normal, right?
Yes, that's true.
But how?
Well, that's up to an individual. If an individual becomes a martial arts champion, he can use it to protect his family, or he can use it to kill.
Yeah.
So the skill sets and the art, if you will, in and by itself, is used for what that individual wants to use it for. For me personally, I know that all is possible within a person, so I end up using it to get a person to move out of their own way. The mind is programmed three ways: authority figure, repetition, and traumatic incident. Authority figure, repetition, traumatic incident. So here we have a slogan for a company called Nike that makes tennis shoes. The slogan is just do it. Most people would know that slogan, but they never memorized it. So now get it out of your head. They can't get it out of their head. It is programmed in because Michael Jordan, the authority figure, said it on the television. Just do it. They've heard it over and over and over and over. Now it's in their subconscious mind and they can't get it out. Not unlike somebody saying, you're never going to grow up to be anything, you're not as smart as your brother, you're overweight, you're ugly. It's programmed in, and unless you go in and change that programming, it will have an influence over everything you do. Everything you do. Another rule of the mind is the more a subconscious thought is accepted, the harder, the more difficult it becomes to remove it through conscious intervention. So the reason I'm such an advocate of subconscious reprogramming techniques that I've developed is because life is moving. 5 years goes by like that. You're a young guy. You'll see. It goes 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. I think it is prudent to get a person to get on track as quickly as possible. Because if they're going to bring their dreams to fruition, if they're going to bring their music, let's say, to the market, then we all get to hear the music. And we may be affected by whatever their dream is. So I think there's a big need out there for people to progress toward whatever their dream is as quickly as possible.
Great. I would love to know how do you help someone to break a limiting belief? For example, I'm too young. Yeah, I'm too young to succeed in life.
Mm-hmm.
How do you do, for example, if I have this kind of belief?
Well, there's a number of ways to do it, but let's look at it. Let me give you just a brief example of how I would do it. The subconscious mind cannot differentiate. It cannot tell the difference between what is imagined and what is real. So, if I told you right now to speed your heart rate up, you can't do it. If I said sweat, you can't do it. If I said make your adrenal glands secrete, you can't do it. But if you were to have a dream tonight sleeping that there was an intruder with a knife and he was going to harm you, you would wake up, pop, 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 sweat, adrenal glands. Why? There's nobody there. There's nobody here now, and there's nobody there at night either. So how come you can't do it now? Because you're thinking consciously. Your mind says there is no threat. When you dream in the subconscious. It thinks there's a threat. So if I program your subconscious to be a millionaire, it really thinks you are. Just like it thought there was the intruder. If I program your subconscious to say, I am the most successful, youngest entrepreneur in history, it thinks you are. It thinks you are. And it goes to work to bring an equilibrium up to make that your reality. It's no different than when you hear what you focus on expands. The problem is when you function consciously, you focus on the wrong things. When you function subconsciously, the subconscious is a computer. It does not know. Just like it didn't know there wasn't really an intruder, it has no idea that you're not that successful. So it goes to work to make it happen. So your physical senses become more acutely aware. You'll overhear conversations. You'll see things you wouldn't have seen before because it's working 24/7 to bring to you what's programmed in.
Great. Can we do that alone, or we need someone else to program yourself? For example, if I want to program myself, currently I am not a millionaire and I want to become a millionaire. How can I do that?
I teach self-hypnosis and subconscious reprogramming tactics through my seminars, Mind Masterpiece, Life Masterpiece Experience. Absolutely, you can learn to do it on your own. The same as you can learn to karate on your own. But it is better to have an instructor to teach you first, and then you can go practice the moves. So I teach anybody that comes to my seminars. Here's my opinion on most seminars. I don't want to offend anybody, but here's my personal opinion. Imagine some marbles in your hand, and I'm click, 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 click. That's people at a seminar. Click, click, click. They're talking, they're excited. The next morning, I drop those marbles on the table. That's the day after the seminar. What happens? They roll really fast. Some roll farther than others, but they all stop. They all stop because the programs that are self-limiting were never addressed. The programs that are holding them back of, I'm not educated enough, I'm too young, there's other people better than me, I don't deserve that much money, those programs will come back in, even though you're excited for a little while, and pretty soon what happens? They give up on their dream. We see it thousands of times. You've seen it. The best of intention doesn't result in the best result.
Great. Okay, I would love to know, you are a speaker also. According to you, what are the differences between the top speaker and the others? What are the differences between those who are succeeding in speaking and those not? I can say it differently. Why some people are paid more than others? When some people are living with speaking and those not.
Sure. Well, first of all, it's the same as anything else. So let's start with that. The people that are better basketball players get paid more. The people that are better dancers get paid more. The people that are better singers get paid more. So part of it becomes your core competency, or are you good at what you do? That's number one. Number two is, as we spoke about a little bit earlier, it is, are you teaching or are you influencing? There's mechanics involved in speaking. There's mechanics of individual rapport, audience rapport, the mechanics of an audience, how to create an audience, how to feel one with the audience. So that's what I teach speakers to do, is to understand how to build that rapport and segue it with language patterns and semantics into influencing the audience. So that's a very, very important fact. Now, as you influence the audience, then the audience obviously comes back and gives you testimonials. So there becomes the law of expectation, which is very big in hypnosis, by the way. What is expected tends to be realized, is the number one rule of the mind. So if a person expects good content, they're going to derive good content. They'll find it. If they expect to purchase something, they'll purchase something. If they expect to go over here, they'll go over there. So creating the law of expectation is what world-class speakers are very good at. They're very good at influencing from using correct semantics, linguistics, voice tone, stage presence, many different things, anchoring the stage. There's an entire art to doing that. But you have to look at it this way too, is if you truly believe that you're bringing value to the audience, then making money is not a problem. Because I think the greatest money I've ever spent has been on learning. I mean, if you go to my library, there's hundreds and hundreds of books and tapes and videos. So anytime I invest in myself, I think it's very, very a worthy investment.
Great.
So the difference is the ability to connect with an audience, create an expectation with that audience, create trust, and create a value exchange with the audience, and the rest takes care of itself.
And how to make rapport with the audience?
Well, what happens when if you're interacting with an audience, people will be influenced by what other people do.
Yeah.
Okay. There's something called a mob mentality. So if you have 100 people on a street corner, and one person walks across, everybody goes, maybe I should go. When the second person walks across, they all go. So by building rapport within an audience, I mean, it's an entire 2-day seminar on how to do this, but to answer one question is, I'll build rapport with the 2 front rows first. Because where are the other rows looking? They're seeing the rapport that I'll build with the people in the front. So I'm influencing the back of the room by building rapport with the front of the room.
Okay, great. So how to build a rapport with the first row?
Correct. You'll build rapport with the first row. Like I said, we can do 2 days on this. The other thing is make sure that you're hitting all of the different genders that are in the room, the different age groups that are different in the room, the ability to somebody say, he's talking to me. Make sure that the eye contact is there. You're very good. You look me in the eye. Make sure that the eye contact is there. Make sure that you are identifying with everybody in the room. Because at the end of the day, why are you speaking? Are you speaking to take or speak to give? If you make money by taking, your career will end up nothing. If you make money by giving, you'll have a legacy. So if you're giving content, it's in everybody's best interest to absorb it. I have 3 A's that I follow. That is acquisition, assimilation, application. If you default on any of those, then you're dead in the water. So acquisition of information is being at the seminar. Assimilation is absorbing it and learning it. Then you have to go the next day and apply it. So say that you're playing the guitar. You're acquiring the lesson on how to do it. Did you learn the lesson or did you already forget? So now, even if you remembered, you have to the next day practice. So it's the same thing in a seminar. It's making sure those 3 A's are as close to perfect as you can.
And when you say applying, you mean applying during the speech or after the speech?
No, during would be assimilating, learning. Afterwards, any of my students, I teach them patterns. I teach them patterns and concepts and the ability to program their own mind. But it's like anything else. Your mind will develop the more you use it. You see, we get up in the morning and we wash our bodies, we comb our hair, we do nothing for our mind. So the mind has to be used and it will be easier and easier. If I were to teach you subconscious reprogramming, after 30 to 90 days, you would be able to do it in 45 seconds, but not right away. So it's just like anything else, learning a dance move, learning a chord on the guitar. Pretty soon you become very, very good at it, and the subconscious can be accessed very quickly. So you can use that even if you're sitting at the airport. You can always use it to reinforce whatever the programming is that you want. Be a millionaire, be healthy, be more confident, communicate better, whatever that is. Once it comes from the inside out, then it's easy to do. Changes everything.
Great. I would love to know, it is a global question, according to you, how to unleash one's potential?
Well, first, you're going to talk to different people that have different ideas and concepts. To me, if you're not dealing with the subconscious mind using my techniques or somebody's techniques that's competent at it, then you're always going to default because your conscious mind will always be there. It will always be there as an enemy in many cases. Not all, but in many cases as an enemy. So once the subconscious is programmed, then the belief system is there. The belief is inside. And you see that all over the place. You see it with people that are born into rich families. They believe they're going to be rich. They already are. They believe that they can succeed because they're around successful people. Remember, repetition, authority figure, traumatic incident. If you put a tarantula, spider, on a baby, it just plays with it. It doesn't know. Until somebody says that's dangerous or until it bites you. That would be repetition, authority figure, or traumatic incident. You know, it's interesting. We're here in San Diego, and we're about 30 miles from Mexico. Okay?
Only?
Yes, it's right down the street. So we're in 30 minutes, you and I would be in Mexico. So the interesting thing is if you look at American children in San Diego, say an 8-year-old boy, they are told growing up, do not talk to strangers. Don't talk to strangers. Don't talk to strangers. Something bad is going to happen. Look at the girl on TV. She never came back. Don't talk to strangers. Don't talk to strangers. Don't talk to strangers. Then they get into sales or speaking or network marketing or some other business. They can't talk to strangers. They tell them, go talk to strangers. They can't. Why? They were programmed through what? Authority figure, parents and grandparents. Repetition, don't talk to strangers, something bad's going to happen, right? Traumatic incident, maybe they had something happen or they saw something on television. You go 30 miles away to Mexico. Same sunshine, same ocean, same everything. 8-year-old boy. Their parents tell them, go talk to every stranger you see. Go out there, talk to everybody. They're knocking on your car window, they're coming up shaking your hand because their parents programmed them that our life will be better if you talk to strangers. They're only 30 minutes away, completely opposite programming.
It's amazing.
It is amazing. And it's how we grow up, but there's strategies, techniques that you can implement to change it very, very quickly. And remember that confidence is not only body language, voice tone, you're very confident, but it's also an energetic exchange of how people feel. People want to follow somebody that's confident. So follow doesn't mean obey. Follow means feel good. Follow me, like, I believe this person, he's confident, because most people aren't confident. So if you were to take, let's say you said an example of you're a leader going into battle.
Yeah.
And you said to the person, hey, let's go up the hill. I think maybe we can take over the hill. I mean, there's a lot of people up there. but I'm pretty sure we can probably do it. I'm not following that person, right? All right, but if he says, no problem, I got it, let's go, I might follow that person. Do you know what skydiving is? With the parachute, you jump out of the airplane. All right, I did that, right? I was scared, so I did the skydive. So I get there, and you strap yourself on another person. They strap you together, and you both go like this together.
Yeah.
All right. One guy walks in, and he's like this. He looks like he just got in a fight with his girlfriend or his wife. He's like tired. He's little. And the other guy looked like a soldier. I said, I'm going with you. I don't even know who was better, but that guy had more confidence, and if I'm going to strap myself to somebody and jump out of an airplane, it's going to be the guy that looks like he can take care of things. So the same thing. Remember what I just said, take care of things. So when you're in front of the room, and you're going to be a great speaker, when you're in front of the room, they need to feel you can take care of things, whatever those things are that they need to take care of. They're there for a reason. They're there to become better. They need to feel you're the person that can make them become better. And if you're good at what you do, then they're happy to pay you. You're happy to give them the information, and everybody wins. It's win-win for everybody.
So you are saying that the first step to teach something to someone is to inspire them, because you are confident, and they want to follow you because you spread good energy, right?
You know what the 4 most powerful words are?
Yeah.
I believe in you.
Yeah, I think so.
I believe in you. Because people grow up, they don't believe in themselves because nobody ever believed in them. Once you believe in somebody, they begin to grow and grow and grow, and then they build self-confidence, self-esteem, and self-image. Your income will always be at whatever level your self-image is. Every time. That's why people win the money in the lottery and they lose the money. Say you have a couple that wins the lottery in America, $300 million, but they've never had money before. So now you take them to La Jolla, beautiful, this is a very wealthy city. You take them to La Jolla and they go to a party. And the people at the party are only worth $100 million. It's a lot of money. They're worth 3 times as much, but they don't feel like it. So their subconscious is saying, we don't belong here. Why are we here with all these rich people? You are the rich people, but they don't feel it. They may have $300 million in the bank, 3 times what anybody else has, but their subconscious hasn't caught up yet. So now, guess what? That's why people lose all their money, because their mind is programmed to be poor. Even if you hand them the money, their subconscious needs to catch up. They need the program. People win the lottery all the time and 2 years later have nothing, because their subconscious said, get back to where you belong. Get back to where you belong. So I think that the programming is paramount to personal change. It absolutely needs to be done. Otherwise, you're going to lengthen the time frame. People can give you theories, they can give you strategies, and they sound good. But unless you deal with the subconscious programming, the majority of people are going to default.
So how do you do? Because I understand that you can help someone to reprogram himself in coaching, in face-to-face coaching. But how do you do, for example, if you want to help 2,000 people to become millionaire? How to help them to reprogram their mind?
How do I do it?
Yeah.
Well, at my seminar, my flagship seminar is called Mind Masterpiece. So say there's 500 people in the room. They're there to learn. I don't come in there and program them to be a millionaire. We will walk through programming sessions to where I'll put them in what's called a hypnoidal state of hypnosis, and we'll get the ball rolling. But they will leave with the strategies, the tactics, and the tools, and the patterns to do it themselves, to continue it on. They're not going to come in 15 minutes leave as a multimillionaire. We're going to go over some of that programming there, just like a personal trainer will show you how to work out. Then it's up to you to go to the gym and consistently apply that. And the change is very fast, very rapid. So most of my seminars, people are there for different reasons. Not everybody's there to be a millionaire. People are there for many, many different reasons. So I'll teach them the tools, and then they can customize those tools for whatever it is that they want. If you're looking at the millionaire, the first thing is we have to identify, if we were just going to focus on that, then we have to identify what their relationship is with money. Okay, we need to know, is money good? Is money bad? Do you feel that people with money are good? Do you feel that people with money are bad? So once we're able to ask questions and see what they're programming it, then we can unlock and come back and make sure that they don't have any problem moving toward that. Then we elevate their self-confidence and self-esteem on a subconscious level. Fear, you're only born with two fears: fear of falling and the fear of noise. That's it. So at my seminars, I'll put a board on the stage, and I'll have you walk across it. 8 inches wide, 15 feet long, 12 feet long. No problem. Put you in a state of hypnosis, tell you that that board is suspended between two 20-story buildings. Remember the subconscious? It really thinks it is. You can't walk across it. Why? Fear of falling. Fear of dying. Is it really between two buildings? No, but your mind thought it was. So all the fear came in. I can't walk across it. Well, the same thing. I can't get on stage and sing that song for everybody because they may not like me. They have a need for approval. It's very important what other people think of them. So we're able to go in, not disengage what other people think, but go into the subconscious using a variety of techniques and get their self-esteem and self-image up to where they feel worthy of success. Once you're worthy of success and you attach it to something that you're making money by giving, not by taking, then the gate's open. You couldn't stop your business from growing because other people are going to sense that you're genuine. And that's the biggest thing. Are you genuine? I don't have a problem paying somebody to help me as long as I feel that they're doing it for the right reason.
In France, I have some speakers and beginners in speaking who comes to me. How can I become a speaker, and how can I succeed in this domain, in this field? Inside themselves, they want to give, but maybe they are in a part of their brain they want to get also because they are poor or something like that. How to truly focus on giving?
Well, that happens automatically if you genuinely. I have no opposition to making money. I've made a lot of money. I have no problem with that. Yeah. But I make the money by feeling that I'm not selling them something that's not real. So they're going to, in other words, if you were a doctor and you knew how to fix my broken arm and you knew how to do it, you wouldn't have a problem with me paying you because in your mind you go, I can help him. But if you were pretending to fix my broken arm, then that's what I'm talking about. Is now you're taking money, you're not giving what they expected from you. Yeah. So if you look at a beginner speaker, part of it really is practice. I mean, part of it, you cannot hypnotize somebody to be a good guitar player. You can hypnotize them to get over the fear of the audience. You can hypnotize them to become more disciplined to practice, but I can't hypnotize them to play all the chords better tomorrow. They're going to have to get in front of the audience. They're going to have to, start to practice. It's interesting because I learned under the world's greatest hypnotist in the world when I started to study. And
who is he?
Oh, there's many. I've studied under 4 different. Gil Boyne was one in Los Angeles. He's passed on now, but he's master. And so I sought out the way that I'm a big believer in mentorship. So anytime I want to do anything, I go find who the best in the world are. Then I go, why would I spend hours without being with the best? So if they're accessible, then I'll go find those individuals.
And how do you know who is the best?
I ask people. If I were to ask somebody now who is the best basketball player, I'll get 1 or 2 or 3 people. I don't even have to know anything about basketball. It will be the same 3, 4, 5 people. People that know the subject would know. If I asked you who is the best tennis player in the world, I get 2 or 3 different people.
Yeah.
Any profession that people are involved in, they'll know who, the best are.
Okay, so you ask people to find the top 5 people in the field to learn from them, right?
Yeah, top 2 or 3. I mean, I learned from 2 or 3. And then, then I became as good as them. It doesn't mean that that a tennis player today is not as good as the tennis player from 20 years ago. They could be better. So you just have to get the right instruction because it accelerates your journey. I wanted to learn from the best people. It's not that big of a deal. I could have learned from other people. I just felt I wanted to learn.
And when you say learning, you say following training, or you mean coaching, or you mean mentoring?
Learning hypnosis.
But it is in a room, or it is in face-to-face?
No, it's in a class.
In a class.
It's in a class, and then I studied under those individuals privately for a year. Both. First a class, and then because I had other people, and then privately, and then hypnosis, then you're on your own. You have to, in my personal opinion, I've taught a lot of hypnotists, and I think you need to do 1,000 people before you're any good at all. 1,000. If I teach it, I certify people in hypnosis. When they're done, they're okay. It's like going to karate. I can't make you a black belt in 1 month. I can teach you what a black belt knows, but you're going to have to get good at it. So it takes time. There's no instant you're a black belt. There's no instant you're a champion dancer, a champion piano player. You're going to have to practice it. So they were honest, so I went out and practiced and practiced and practiced. I'd put groups anywhere I could, timeshares, hotels, parties, anywhere I could go and get a group of people, and I would practice and practice, and I'd fail. I'd practice and I'd fail. I would videotape it and watch what I said, how I said it. Oh, that's what I did wrong. And I got better and better and better.
Great.
Yeah, it took a long time. But it's well worth it because it's like anything. Hypnosis and personal development to me is like music is to a musician. There's nothing they'd rather do, than practice their music. Same with me. There's nothing I'd rather do than teach and practice and develop new skills for the human mind. There's nothing else I'd rather do.
Yeah, do you think we have to teach to students hypnosis?
No. The only person that needs to learn hypnosis and become certified is if they want to hypnotize other people. But everybody that leaves my seminars, I teach them to hypnotize themselves. So there's two different things.
Yeah. I would like to build a 1-year school for students at the age of 18 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think for example, if we build the program together,
mm-hmm.
do you think it's important to, in 1 year, to help students, to help youth knows how to do self-hypnosis?
Absolutely. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah,
absolutely. I call it subconscious programming because I use other things outside of hypnosis as well. But I just think there's absolutely, without a doubt, nothing as powerful as that. Nothing as fast. Have you ever heard of affirmations?
Yeah.
Okay, here's the problem with affirmations. Nothing wrong with them, but there is a problem. And the problem is you're doing them when you're conscious. You're relaxed. I am wealthy. I am healthy. That's fine. The challenge is that it's dripping from the conscious, the subconscious is down here. In between, it's something called the critical factor. It is like a guard at the gate, like a bouncer at a nightclub. And as it comes down, it bounces. So sometimes one will get in the nightclub. Sometimes one will slip in the party. And over time, it will work. The challenge is over time. Because pretty soon you do reverse affirmations. This isn't working, this isn't working, I've been doing this for 3 weeks, it's not working, I'm not seeing any changes, it's not working, it's not working, it's not working. Now you've just erased everything you did. Hypnosis, subconscious reprogramming, what I do is we take this guard, we take this doorman, we remove him. We put him over here. Now I go straight in there. So that's how hypnosis works. It's much more fast. It's much more rapid. It doesn't mean other techniques don't work. I just feel that there's nothing as effective or as quick. Quick being relative, not 5 minutes, but quick being faster. Because remember, you're always a product of your environment. Remember I said repetition, authority figure, traumatic incident. If you're around an environment that's unsupportive, especially at your age, when people get around entrepreneurs, you could tell, when I came in here and you told me what your goal was and your dream, right? Did I laugh at it? No. But a lot of times, the younger a person, if they're not around entrepreneurs that dream big, they'll be made fun of.
Yeah.
And that hurts. It not only hurts emotionally, but it affects them as well. So the idea is to make sure that you get around an environment that's always supportive.
Yeah, I believe a lot in that.
Yeah, if you're not around an environment, then the more you need to work on yourself. You know, the more you need to work on yourself to create a barrier of influence from that environment. Because we're always around somebody. You know, people always say to me that come visit me from all over the world in San Diego, private clients. I do professional poker players, athletes, and not a lot of private clients, CEOs, people that fly in, and they say, look at everybody in San Diego, they're all in shape. Like everybody exercises, you know, they're in great shape. So it's harder to become overweight in San Diego than it is in other areas of the country to where everybody's overweight. You know, so conversely, it's hard to be in an area of the country to where nobody is physically fit and be the only person that starts doing push-ups on the floor. To go down here to the beach, you see people all over exercising, running, doing push-ups, yoga, because that's the environment. So it becomes more conducive to people being in shape here. Same thing. If you're around entrepreneurs, I had to leave my friends. You know, when I was 22, 23, I had to leave them behind because they were pulling me back. You know, oh, you're not going to be a millionaire. You can't do that. You have a high school education. You're not going to be able to do. I had to make a decision to get new friends. It was tough back then, but I was leaving. I was moving forward and they weren't. And I didn't want that influence around me.
I think I totally believe that, and I totally agree. I did the same. And do you have some life lessons you would like to share to youth with your experiences?
Well, the first life lesson is that seconds connect to minutes, minutes connect to hours, hours connect to days, days connect to weeks, weeks connect to months, months connect to years, years connect to decades, decades connect to legacies. So you have to understand that mastering the minute is mastering the legacy. Mastering the minute is mastering the year. And it's more than just living in the now, it's mastering that minute. It's mastering interacting with people with no agenda. Because as the more we become involved in business and life and people, the more you start hearing, I call it layered listening. I never listen to what a person is saying, I listen to what they mean. Because 80% of the time, what they're saying isn't what they mean. And we know that because everybody's selling something, everybody wants something, everybody has an agenda. So you learn to listen in a different way. So one of the life lessons is mastering your minute. Can you master every minute? Then can you master every hour? Then can you master every day? The other thing is, second life lesson, it's a great term, is when you show me your calendar for the week or the month. All successful people schedule their time. They understand they cannot make time. You can only direct it or invest it. You can't make anymore. There's only 24 hours. You can't make 25. So you can never make time. You can only invest it or direct it. So when I look at somebody's calendar, the first thing I do if I was working with somebody, I say, show me your calendar for the week. Okay, now show me your calendar for the month. I don't schedule a month out. Well, you better. Now, I want to see in your calendar where you have your future. They go, what? Where's your future? I see go to the movies with my girlfriend. I see work on Saturday on my films. I see go bicycle riding, take the kids. I see all of the things you have to do. Where is your future? So you, for instance, scheduled an interview with me today, right?
Yeah.
Your future's in your calendar. That's why you're moving forward. That's why you're going to be a super success. Your future is in your calendar. How many people ever put anything in their calendar that is, I'm going to spend 2 hours on my future? Nobody. So if you don't plan your future, then you just arrive there and then you get upset. It's not what I wanted. We didn't plan it. If you look at football teams, you know, professional football here in America, their goal, life lesson number 3, their goal is to win the Super Bowl, right? But did they go out there and just say, we're going to win the Super Bowl? Nope, they have a playbook. They know the plays. They've practiced them. They've mastered them. But that's still not enough. What do they do after every single play? They all get around each other. Why? The landscape changes. Might have to change the play. Doesn't matter. Maybe that play didn't work. Maybe we're going to do this play instead. So people have to master their minutes so they can master their hours because the environment changes. Things change. You have to be ready and then be able to maneuver yourself toward where you want to go.
Great. I love that.
You know, I just get such a joy out of meeting people, you know, young people, you know, like yourself that are embarking, because that was me. You know, that was me entering into this territory, and I'm a firm believer for subconscious reprogramming. I became one of the best in the world at it because it changed me first. You know, it's like somebody that has a disease and they go on a special diet and it heals their disease. They now understand internally what it did. Had it not been for reprogramming my subconscious, I might have carried those limiting beliefs with me, you know, for a long time.
Yeah.
You know, so as your self-image and self-esteem, I remember my father said, what are you going to do? I said, I don't know, why? And, you know, he was a businessman. And I said, what do you want me to do? He goes, I want you to go to college, and I want you to get a business degree, and I want you to become a vice president of a corporation. I said, okay. Can I ask you a question, Dad? I said, yeah. Why don't I just start out as president? He goes, what? I'll just start out as president. He goes, how are you going to do that? I go, put it on my business card. I'm going to start the company. See, his belief couldn't figure that out, because where he comes from, you work your way up. I didn't work my way up. I started out at the top. Why not? Put president. I go, look, Dad, president. It's on my card. He had no idea. My brother's a doctor, and then my dad says, oh, you're going to be pumping gasoline. I go, yeah, into my Mercedes-Benz. I'm going to be pumping gasoline. You know, watch me. So then I bought a house 3 times bigger than his, and then it was, I knew you could do it. You know, but that's his programming, that you can't succeed unless you move up some hierarchy. You can succeed if you move out of your own way and you get around the right kind of people. Anybody that I travel with, you could tell me, your girlfriend could tell me that she has this crazy idea. I'd say, do you need money? I'll help you find some money for it, whatever. I'll help anybody. There is no crazy idea. Doesn't matter, because I'm around entrepreneurs. I don't think I know one person that has a job. I don't hang around people with jobs. Nobody I hang around makes their money through hourly wage, salary, base, or commission. They make their money through entrepreneurial activities. So I'm around that environment, that catalyst or that genesis of thought.
Yeah,
and it's fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, it's a blast.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jim, I have a serious question for you. I would love to help people, and me first. How can I become a loser? Do you have some keys, advice?
Yes, look and see what everybody else does and do that.
Okay, so I look at the average person, right? And I do the same?
No, you look at what everyone else does. You see, my philosophy is look and see what everyone does and don't do that. Don't make money the way they make money. Don't treat people the way they treat people. Don't eat what they eat. Don't think what they think. Don't read what they read. Don't go where they go. Because guess what? You're going to be just like the masses, the majority. There's nothing wrong with that if you're happy. But if you want to move beyond the majority, then don't do what they do. So the way you operate above average all the time is simply look and see what everybody else does and don't do that. I get up at 4 in the morning and I'm in the gym at 5 a.m. When 4 o'clock comes, all I have to do is ask myself a question. What would an average person do? Go back to sleep? I got to get up then. Would an average person eat that? Yeah, I'm not going to eat it then. Would an average person blow off reading that book? Okay, I've got to read it then. So I'm always operating above average. So when somebody is not happy or they're not motivated, there's a difference between wanting and hoping and creating a plan to do it. So back to subconscious. If we're able to get them to internally believe it's possible for them, then they'll be motivated.
Great.
Easy. Another example to give you is somebody will not start a business that they don't believe in, that will only cost $500, but they could make $1 million. That person will tell you they don't have the $500. But the next month, they'll go pay $5,000 to learn to cut hair. Why? because they believe that if they get that degree to cut hair, they can make $20,000, $30,000 a year. They don't believe if they start this business that they can make $20,000, $30,000 a month. They don't believe it. So when you talk about millionaire, subconsciously what you want to do, and this is very important, back to your how to be a loser question, very important that your excitation, your excitement, and your belief are in alignment. If I tell somebody that only makes $20,000 a year, they're going to be a millionaire, very, very difficult. Sounds good. That would be cool, but they don't believe they can do it. So you know what I tell somebody that makes $20,000 a year? I'm going to show you how to make 40. Now they're excited, and they believe I could probably make 40. When we go to 40, we take them to 80. 80 to 160, 160 to 320, 320 to 640, millionaire. Start with the steps up the ladder. Don't try to go from the bottom all the way to the top, because your mind goes, I don't know if I can do that. Before you learn to make $1 million, you need to learn to make 100,000.
Yeah.
Before you can make 100,000, you need to learn how to make 10. Before you make 10, you need to learn how to make 1,000, 100, and then your first dollar. So once you're able to step it up, your subconscious goes, I can do that. I can go to that next step. And that's how you move your way, keeping belief in sync with where you're moving to.
I love this.
Makes sense?
Yeah, thank you very much.